What's up, everybody? It's Dingers time. We are Dingers with the boys. Welcome back for another episode. I'm Tim. I'm here with Kyle. We're back for another week.
Yeah, how's it going, everybody? Hope everybody had a great week. We know we did. It was busy, but lots of sports to talk about. But let's just get straight into it. First, we want to talk about the NBA Finals.
Yep.
Little preview for that. If you didn't watch any NBA, how we got here, Boston first went through Miami. They won.
I was trying to think of who they played first. I'm like, It's been so long.
It's been a while.
Who did they play first?
Maybe it's going to be nice for us to remember too.
Right. They went Miami, and then they went
through Cleveland.
And then Cleveland and the Pacers. I wanted to say the Pacers, but then the Pacers were the third.
And then on the West, Dallas is going to be in the finals. They first went through Oklahoma City.
No, Clippers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Clippers, then OKC, then Minnesota.
Yep.
Man, that series, let's just touch on that series a little bit. And I know we touched about it a little bit last week.
You're talking about the Minnesota Dallas. All right.
So I would say, and people are going to say they didn't say this now.
Yeah.
The majority of people during the Nuggets, Minnesota, this team's going to the finals out of the West. And probably has a great chance of winning,
Yeah.
And I know we said it. I was like, I think Dallas is going to lose in 5 or 6. I think Minnesota is going to win in 5 or 6. And I was like, I could see it honestly being a sweep. Well, and then all of a sudden it was just like crazy how different it was. And it drives me crazy when people are like, oh, no, I saw this coming. Well, you didn't see this coming because you would have said it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, with the professionals, it's hard to sweep. People do it and stuff. But it's just like, man, I thought Kat and Gobert and Naz Reid were just going to tear them apart. And then you had the rookie, Lively. Yeah. Man, he played great. And the game that he didn't play, the one game he didn't play, Minnesota won.
Yeah, and it was still a close game.
Dallas had the chance to win.
Yeah, they easily could have. Luka misses a free throw, which is unlike him.
To bring it within 2.
Yep.
And then, who knows, they could have still made 2 free throws or something. But it was just like, man, they had the lead with a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
And I was just so surprised. Luka is playing great ball right now. He is just outside his mind, Also, Kyrie, you know, we've said it on this spot. I'm not a huge fan of Kyrie. I know you aren't. This series made me like him more, actually. I still am not like, oh my gosh, Kyrie and everything. I don't dislike him as much after watching this series. I was like, man, I actually kind of like how he's playing and stuff. And just how he's talking in his interviews after.
He's really taking the role of a leader, I think, with Dallas. And it's not all about him and him 100%. He knows his role in Dallas. He knows, hey, this is Luka's team. Yeah. And I'm just here to help him out. Or I'm not the number one star or whatever.
And maybe that's
anymore.
why.
And I think he's kind of I'm not going to say he's taking like a step back, but in a way he's understood that, hey, this team needs me more to be a really good leader.
Yeah. And he was still averaging, 26 points or something, 25 points a game?
I mean, he surprised me a lot in that series with.
Well, and he's not like I said, even in his interviews after the games, I know they were asking about Anthony Edwards. I think it was after game 2 or game 3. And he's like, man, that boy talks a lot for not winning anything yet.
Yeah.
Whereas, and the way he said it, it was just like, wow, that was very mature of him.
Yeah.
Which you don't really see from Kyrie, I feel like, very often. Like usually it's like he's going on tangents about God knows what, and it's just like, man, what's going on? But I've actually liked him. I've liked him more, Like I said, I'm not still a huge fan, but I love Luka, man. He's so fun to watch. I feel like him and Jokic, obviously they're different sizes and stuff, different positions. They definitely play similar. It's like, hey, what the team needs, that's what it is.
I think off the court and their personalities too, they have certain demeanors about them that are very much the same. I think they both understand that, hey, basketball is great and it's a big part of my life, but it's not everything. It's not.
I think Luka takes it a little bit more like serious. Well, like that, because I think Jokic takes it serious, but I think Luka, like you hear him talking a little bit more and stuff. But I do agree. It's like, and maybe that's just being like a foreign player. I don't know if maybe that's just how they got brought up, like in those foreign countries or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it is. I like watching him play. It's fun. I think him and Jokic are really good friends, actually. Because every time they get together, that would have been such a fun series.
Oh yeah,
honestly, I wish we could have.
It would have been interesting.
I think we would have beat Dallas. It's easy to say now, but I think we would have beat them.
Yeah, going on like the relationship with Jokic and Luka, though, it'd be interesting if there would be any like friendships or like friendship antics between them in that series, because they both know, like, hey, this is serious. Like, this is to go to the finals.
Yeah.
Like, you heard a lot about it when Denver was playing Minnesota. The Anthony Edwards and KCP are very good friends. They didn't talk at all.
Yeah.
The whole entire series. So
really? Yep. I didn't know they were good friends.
And that's crazy because they're guarding each other. Like, KCP is probably the primary guarder.
They probably honestly talk like more smack.
Yeah, but they were.
I didn't know that they're friends.
No, they're apparently really good friends.
I don't know how I didn't hear about that.
They hang out in the off season, work out together. But
interesting.
But yeah, they're very close.
I didn't know that. Yeah, it's funny because like I play drop-in basketball and I play league basketball sometimes. Not as much anymore, but I'd have friends on other teams, and it's like. I wanted to beat those guys even more, almost. It's like, hey, we're friends off the court, but it's like, hey, it's time to play.
And then it would also be interesting because you see Jokic and Luka really start messing with each other
like
around the All-Star break, which that's the point of it. It's like a break.
It's fun,
regular season, like, they talk and stuff, but
it'd be interesting.
I don't think there would be. I don't think they'd be like buddy.
No, I think they would. I think they would talk, but it wouldn't be as much as even just during the regular season too. Yeah. It's not like they're getting dinner after or something like that.
But it would have been a fun series. I remember like earlier in the season, I said Dallas getting PJ Washington was a great move for them. Daniel Gafford was a great move for him. It's kind of crazy. PJ Washington went from Charlotte being one of the worst teams to
now being in the finals.
He's being in the finals. So I know a lot of players around the NBA are kind of tweeting at him and
they traded a couple guys away, which is like, man, that would suck.
Yeah,
it's like but who knows if they would have stayed on the team. But the finals this now it's Boston versus Dallas. This man, I never thought we'd be talking about this matchup. Honestly. Yeah. It's like Boston, I never thought Dallas was going to come out of the West, really. Yeah. Like, we've said before, like, anybody can come out of the West. And so, just the way it was going, though, I was like, it's got to be Denver or Minnesota, pretty much.
Yeah, you would think.
And even maybe the Clippers, if Kawhi was healthy. I didn't think OKC at all. Phoenix, maybe, but I was like, I just do not think Dallas...
It seems like Dallas has gotten better with every single series as well. I think they beat the Clippers in 6.
Do you think?
I think they beat OKC in 6.
Like, do you think that this is going to be like a 7-game series, 4-game series? What?
Dude, I don't even know because I'm with you at the same time. It's like I did not expect like Boston or Dallas to be here.
Yeah,
but it's going to be interesting because on one hand. Boston, I think, still is the favorite. They got to be the favorite.
Oh, for sure.
But they haven't really been battle tested at all coming here yet.
Really quick with that, if they win, are people going to say this is the easiest road to the championship, like everybody said with Denver last year? Because it's like, all right, you got Miami, 8 seed. Jimmy Butler was out the entire series. Did he play the?
He got hurt in the play-in game.
Okay, yeah.
So
he was out the entire series. 2 was Cleveland, which
Jared Allen was hurt the whole
and Donovan Mitchell got hurt, so he didn't play.
And LeVert the very last game.
Yeah. But, 3 was Indy, or in Indiana, the Pacers, which Halliburton didn't play for a couple, and a lot of people didn't really think like that's the 6th seed. And so now they have Dallas, who's the 5 seed out of the West. So is that going to be a narrative that it's like, man, this is the easiest championship ever?
Guarantee you it will be.
But I don't think it's going to. I don't think the media is going to say stuff about that. I think they just hate Denver, to be honest with you. And I think because it was very much so like the media saying this. Yeah. I don't think the media is going to say that as much. Maybe maybe a couple here and there. I don't think they're
probably won't, but I don't really agree with it, even if they do.
I don't agree with it last year, this year. I think pretty much every single team that makes the playoffs, they're a good team
to be there.
You know, and it's like every once in a while, it's like, all right, man, this team's terrible. Like they shouldn't have made. But it's like it's crazy how much injuries. But it's interesting too because Boston lost game 1 of round 1, right? Or I don't know, one of the first 2 games. I know they lost one of the first 2 games of round 1.
Yeah.
One of the first 2 games of round 2. They should have lost game 1 of round 3. Yeah. So they should, like, all 3 of their rounds, they, like, just for saying, let's just say they lost that first game, you know, they lost on their home court. Mm-hmm. Well, Dallas just went into Minnesota and won their first 2 games.
Yeah.
I think they won 1 in OKC.
And they won
the first 2 and 1 in Clippers. LA, right? Yeah. And so that's very interesting to see. Yeah. It's like, all right, is this first like 2 games, if they split, does Dallas go to the favorite?
No.
You still think Boston's the favorite? Say what if Dallas wins the first 2 games?
I still think.
You still think Boston would be the favorite if they win the first 2 games?
I don't know. It depends on how they win.
Say it's within 5, both of them.
If it's within 5, no. I still think Boston can come back.
I think they could, but do you think it would actually be? Do you think
I think it would move to like kind of even. Interesting. A little bit.
So you think they're like 2-game favorites? Boston is.
I think so.
Wow.
I think right now you could even. Yeah,
that's interesting.
2 is maybe even cutting it. I bet you a lot of people think that Boston is just going to sweep them.
Oh, it's crossed my mind, but I thought Minnesota was going to sweep them or possibly like 5 games. So it's like I don't want to.
I will say like
Dallas I don't want to like count them out. I will
say I think Boston's main weakness is the center and is the paint, which
Porzingis is going to be back though, correct?
He will. Yeah.
They said he'll be back for Thursday night.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know he was. Sure. They were saying probably, but I don't know if they've.
I'm pretty sure he was able to come back with Indiana, but they were up 3-0, so they're like, "Hey, what's the point?"
Yeah, now you got another week and a half.
You got another week off, which is huge. But I do think like, I still don't think Derek Lively and Gafford are gonna be huge like impacts in the paint, but they can catch a lob. They can. Yeah. They can still make an impact.
It really. Is Boston going to be able to shut down Kyrie and Luka? That's pretty much what you're looking at.
Yeah.
If they can shut those guys down, or even keep them less than 20, Boston's going to win every game.
Yep.
I know people were saying Minnesota has the best defense, all this, and maybe numbers. I think Boston overall, maybe not number one, just overall, just looking at their team, has the best defense.
Yeah.
Because they have so many people that can guard just different positions, and even if they switch off of them, hey, like Jason Tatum can guard Luka, or he can guard Lively, or whatever. You know, it's like it might be a little bit of a mismatch, but he can hold his own. You know,
well, I think also in today's NBA era, defense still matters. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I'd put offense more ahead of it.
Well, if you're saying that, then I would say Dallas has the better.
I don't think so, because Boston, you have Porzingis, Tatum, Jaylen Brown, or Derek White.
I would pretty much say your top, like your 2 offense are Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah,
those are your 2 offense, because like you can say like Porzingis, like there's times that he can go off, but Lively can go off as well. You know,
but Lively is not going to be scoring 20 points.
But he could. That's what I'm saying. Like he could. I don't think he's going to.
I think you'd have to have.
I do think Porzingis is better, but. Who would you say is better, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, or Kyrie and Luka?
Jaylen Brown and Tatum.
Would you?
Yeah. I think by far.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Luka's the top 3 in the league. I think Luka's the best offensive player for sure in this series. Do you think Kyrie Irving is? Because do you agree with that? Is Luka the best offensive player?
Yeah. I think it goes.
So do you think
Luka,
Irving is way down there then?
No, he's not way down there, but it goes Luka, Tatum, Brown, and then Irving right under it. But that's why I'm telling you,
So
Boston,
do you think it's a 50-50 between those two pretty much then? Or do you think
I think maybe
the Celtics
a 55-45. But that's why I'm saying Boston is going to beat them with Derek White and Porzingis. Because say take out Kyrie Irving and Luka. I was just take them out of the equation and then take out Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Boston still has Porzingis, Derek White, Drew Holiday. And then maybe
Drew's more like a defensive player.
Yeah, but he still can.
Yeah, but you can say that. You can say that about any player, though. There's definitely players that for example, the Nuggets. It's KCP just had 20 points. But you're not. They're not going to be averaging that in this series. But they do have to play good. I think it's the defensive though. That's where Derek White is going to probably guard Luka or Kyrie.
Yeah.
That's where I think it is. It's not about on the offensive side for him. I mean, yes, he needs to hit his open shots, and he can, those threes and stuff, But if he can shut down Luka, he can score 0 points, and it doesn't matter. If he keeps Luka under 20 points, boom, you got the game pretty much, And if Holiday will probably be guarding Irving, that's just my guess.
Probably.
I don't know exactly, but all right, you keep him under 20, have 0 points, it does not matter.
Yeah.
And Lively could have 30 points still.
And that's what I'm saying. It's more likely for Boston to win.
But I don't think it's because of the offensive, though. That's what I'm saying. I think it's more defensively. They're just so much more sound, and they have so many people that can guard every position. Karl Anthony Towns, if he gets switched on Luka, heyday. If Jaylen Brown gets switched on Luka, it's not all right, you're just going. That's what I'm saying. And so it's offense, especially in the NBA, every once in a while it's hey, it doesn't matter who you are. You have a good shooting game, you can go for 20 points,
That's why you need timely defense, I think.
I think it's both matters. I mean, it's tough because defensive, on every single possession, no, you don't need to. You don't need to. But if you can get them out of their rhythm and then making bad passes and stupid shots and missing and stuff, then it's all right, hey, I can take a couple off kind of thing or something like that. And then it's gets in their head.
But I just think because the odds of keeping Luka and Kyrie to both under 20 probably ain't happening. I don't care who you are defensively.
If you can keep them as a duo under 50, I think you're going to win.
Yeah.
So even if they both average 25, I think you're going to win in that.
Probably.
And so that's where it's I'm not saying that offense isn't important. You have to score to make it or to win the game and stuff. I just think that's going to be your thing. And that's how a lot of people for the Nuggets is hey, if you can shut down Nikola Jokic, you're probably going to win the game. And it doesn't matter, even if he goes for 20 points or it's just, hey, if you can contain him, you're going to win the game.
Yeah.
And that's where it's all right, him and Jamal are pretty much or are too. Well, Jamal sucked. And you saw it really hurt us. Yeah. So it's hey, even if you can say Irving to 10 points and Luka still has 30 or something, it's man, that can be a big difference. So
yeah, I think we're saying basically the same thing.
I think you're a whack
a little
job.
Different. No, it just seems you're saying you need to be good defensively 100% of the time, where I'm saying
I don't think it's 100% though. In the whole span of the game. Like I said, if you can kind of make them do some bad passes, then it kind of gets in their head a little bit. And so I'm not saying 100% of the time. Right. I think defense matters more than what you're saying, kind of thing. That's what I'm saying. Because you're just saying it just doesn't matter as much anymore.
I'm just saying so I think the biggest reason why Minnesota lost versus Dallas and lost 4-1 is because they can stop Dallas defensively, But then when you're getting stops and you're not making anything on the other end,
and that's where you need to like score for sure.
Yeah,
you do,
and that's why I say I would probably impact offense, put that above like really good defense, just because hey, if you're playing really good defense but you're not getting anything on the other end, it doesn't matter. You might as well just like.
I think,
and that's why I think like
I don't know what you're saying. I think you're wrong. Though.
I don't know how.
I don't know
how else to
I forgot even what I've all said. So I feel like you said, I think we're kind of saying similar stuff.
I think we're saying the same.
It's just kind of coming off differently.
But yeah, I don't see how Dallas is going to have an answer for the 15 plus points Derek White can bring, the 20 plus that Porzingis can bring, and the 12 plus that Drew Holiday can bring. Just because on Dallas's
I think they're all going to average less than that. That's my guess. I think all three of them are going to average less than what you just said.
One of those players will average what I just said. I don't know. Right. It might be Porzingis under 20, but Derek White's probably going to get 15 plus. It might be Drew Holiday for 12 plus, but
my guess is all three are going to say average less than that. It might be 11.9 for Holiday, but I think it's under 12.
I don't know. I just don't see.
I think they're all three of them. Realistically, are actually right around that 10 mark, that 10-point mark, which I think is going to be enough for them.
So what would you put like PJ Washington, I think Derek Jones, and
like honestly, I would say they're probably around that same 10 point.
Do you think they're going to be higher than White?
No. I think Boston's going to be better. Maybe, all right, maybe those guys will be closer to like that 15 or so. It's going to be close, but it's like I think it comes back to the defense though, because they're going to get more steals, I think, and so they're going to get more open buckets and more 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s, and they're going to get some of those. I think they'll get more offensive rebounds as well, so I think they're going to get more second chance points, and so I think that's why. So I think it's like defense leading into offense.
Do you think Boston is going to get more second chance?
Yeah,
I think Dallas is going to get more second chance.
Well, I just feel like. With Tatum, like Tatum goes to the rim and like he goes.
But he's going to be having to go against Lively and Gafford,
which I think Tatum's going to light those guys up. On either way, I mean, and then if Porzingis can play too, you have to guard Porzingis. I mean, dude, 10 years ago or when I don't know exactly when he was drafted.
Yeah,
but when Porzingis was drafted, like he was legit, man. Like those years in New York, and he's kind of like gone down, but.
Yeah, injuries.
He's still. I mean, I would love him on the Nuggets. I'd take him on the Nuggets in a second.
Yeah, he was a great pickup for Boston. But
really quick before we move on,
I
saw this and I showed this to you today. Gordon Hayward. Some people are saying, and I've said this before, that some people like him in the Nuggets organization. What do you think of that? Really quick, just a spit,
I would love it. He hasn't played really in a couple of years. So.
Well, he played in Charlotte. At the beginning of the year, he played in Charlotte.
Was he the one that got waived and he played for OKC?
No, he got traded at the trade deadline. But he was averaging like 12 or 13.
For OKC now?
Yeah, but he's not going to go back to them. That was a whole weird thing. Like the GM's like, I missed on him and stuff. It's like, dude, you didn't play him though.
Yeah.
It's like, but he was averaging like 13 weird. Points in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Which I actually have liked Gordon Hayward since he was at Butler. I think that would be very good, especially coming off the bench. And if we can get him around that minimum, I think that would be a great
I think it would solve Denver's bench problems instantly.
Yeah. Because he can score for sure.
Yeah.
And he can lead that second unit.
I think that's what Denver needs is they need a bench
and
person.
He's a veteran too.
You can score whether we help you or not kind of thing.
Yeah. And he is getting a little older, but I would really like that to happen. I
think it would be cool.
That's I really want that to happen.
Yeah.
But we can keep talking about the WNBA during the NBA finals. Let's go to the WNBA. And it's crazy. So they're about a quarter of the way through the season. So they play 40 games in the season. It's kind of weird. The Fever have played 11 games as of doing this.
Yep.
Okay. And there's some games going on right now. But as of today, 11 games. The next, there's 2 teams at 9 games. And then everybody else is 8 or lower.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting to me. I'm like, why is the Fever, top loaded? It just seems like, especially in a 40-game season, that they've already played 2 games more than anybody else, and then only 2 other teams are within 2 games. That's kind of interesting.
I have a guess on why that might be. So, like, right now, for sports, the things that are happening right now are MLB, their regular season, but then you have NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs. And then you have the WNBA just starting their season. So I bet you the reason why the Fever are getting so many games is because they're hoping to drag away people that are watching the playoffs and NHL playoffs to say, hey, Caitlin Clark. Like, this
and
is
most of their games have been against the top teams in the league too. So
I think it's the whole ratings thing. It's like, hey, let's start with our best hand kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just build on that for the rest of the season.
That's a good point. I don't know if they're like, realistically, I don't think they can really drag people away necessarily.
Yeah.
But maybe, because there's been a couple like Fever games on in the NBA games, not like a great game or something, and I've flipped it. But I've done it with some of the other WNBA too. It is interesting that you say that though, because I do check, like when I know the Fever are playing, like today, for example, I knew they were playing. I check the box score to see how Caitlin Clark did. Yeah. And me, I wouldn't say like I'm like a ecstatic fan or anything. I am a fan of the WNBA. And I have like the last couple of years, I've watched them a lot more. This year, I'm more invested. And is it because of Caitlin Clark? Or is it just, I think some of it is because I never watched Iowa games before. Yeah. And the last 2 years I've watched Iowa games, And so it's like, it's just fun to watch, man. It's interesting. So I think you would make a good point. Like maybe they are trying to get those like ratings up kind of like going. And then once the NBA and NHL kind of stop, everybody's like, oh, hey, this is still going on. Yeah. And then it's like, all right,
and boom, then at that point, you're getting into the middle of the WNBA season.
So it's kind of race for the finals, race for the
playoffs and stuff. So it's good storylines, it's good matchups, like stuff like that. So if I had to guess, I'm not like a TV ratings expert or anything by any means, but if I had to guess,
that just made me think too. By you saying that, you know how Sabrina Ionescu came to the NBA All-Star game to go versus Steph. I think it would be kind of cool if Steph went to the WNBA one and they had a rematch. Yeah, I think that would bring crazy ratings and stuff. And so I wonder if that's something that they've thought about.
I hope so.
Or if Steph would even do.
I'm sure Steph would, because he is a supporter of the WNBA, and I think it would be even cool to like have a couple NBA stars.
They talked about it last year. They're like, oh, what about Steph and I can't remember who they said. They said somebody, or Damian Lillard, I think maybe. Yeah. Versus like Ionescu and Clark or something like that next year. But it would be cool to like if Steph could do like, hey, we're having a rematch and it's at the WNBA or something like that.
I think that would be huge for honestly both sports. Mm-hmm. It would help the NBA a lot. It would help the WNBA a lot. Yeah. I think it would be a lot of fun. I think so too. What's the hate with Caitlin Clark though? Like, so on what was that, Friday night? I think it was Saturday night.
Or Saturday night. They were playing the Chicago Sky, which that was big. We talked about it last week. Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. Yep. Even though they're not guarding each other and stuff, but hey, it was a big one. And you had Cardoso on the Sky as well. And so it was a big game, The Fever ended up winning by 1, which is kind of a crazy. We forgot that it was on early, and it was like 5 o'clock, and we're like, oh, what time's that game starting? And it like just finished, and we're like, we missed it, And so, the Fever ended up winning by 1. But in that game, Kennedy Carter from the Sky said, well, I'm sure there was some smack talking throughout the game and stuff, but you could see on TV, she's saying, you're a insert word. I'm not going to say it, but it starts with a B. But then she comes and like blindsides her and like shoulder checks her.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, people talk smack in basketball. You know, I mean, in any sport, they talk smack. But something like that, when it's like getting physical, it's like, dude, there's hate on Caitlin Clark. Like, she straight up just came and blindsided her. She only got a common foul, off-ball foul. Ball wasn't even near. Now the WNBA like put it as a flagrant. But it's like, Caitlin Clark even said on broadcast, that's not a basketball play, you know?
Yeah.
And Kennedy Carter, at first she said, I'm not answering anything about Caitlin Clark or whatever. And then she said, she can only shoot threes. What does she bring to the table?
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because, all right, I just want to, Kennedy Carter, for you, those that don't know, she was drafted in 2020, first round, fourth pick by the Atlanta Dream. Okay. 2021, well, she ended up getting on, I'm pretty sure, the all rookie team. Okay. 2021, Atlanta terminated her contract after she threatened to beat up her own teammates. Okay. 2022, she's on the Sparks. The Sparks waived her mid-season for poor detrimental to the team. Okay. 2023, she played in Turkey. 2024, this was the Sky's 7th game, and she's doing this. Okay. This year, she's averaging 12 points, which, hey, that's good.
That's good.
2.7 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 0.7 steals. So it's not like she's like a top player, but she's like that mid, you know, like, hey, it's not bad. But she says that what else does Caitlin Clark bring to the table?
Yeah.
Okay. As a rookie, and we've talked about this, everybody's playing their best defense, throwing different things at her, different switches and everything, double teams. Clark is averaging 16.9 points a game, almost 5 points more than her. 5.4 rebounds a game, almost 3 rebounds higher than her. Yeah. 6.5 assists per game, almost 4 assists per game higher, and 1.2 steals, a half a steal higher.
And I'd almost like...
What are you talking about?
And also, like, Caitlin Clark hasn't really shot super well from three either.
Dude. Well, this girl, I think she's shooting, I think it said 15% from three or something. Yeah. But yeah, she's not even shooting that great from three. Or even like field goals. It's not like amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like,
well, I just,
what?
Like, it's just, I don't know, it's confusing.
I didn't tell you those stats before this. So what do you think about that? I meant to not talk to you about that until now, because I just want to see what you think of that.
I don't even know how to react because it doesn't make sense. And I think if I was a reporter and I heard that, I'd almost just say the same thing back to her. It's like, well, what are you bringing to the table?
Exactly.
It's like, what are you doing?
Like, what do you do better than her other than being an enforcer and detrimental to your team?
Yeah. And I don't know, to touch on like the enforcer part and stuff with that Caitlin Clark is seeing in the league so far, I didn't expect the WNBA to like open their arms and be like, thank you, Caitlin Clark, for coming and
saving our league or anything
like that. Because I think WNBA would have got all the things that they're getting now.
And like we were saying, it was trajectory and high. Caitlin Clark has skyrocketed it higher,
She boosted
like
it.
as quicker and stuff. You know, it's like, hey, you could have got there, but this helps a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's been so many tweets on these that people are like, this is ridiculous. Like, WNBA needs to do something. The only reason why I'm watching is because of Caitlin Clark and stuff like that. And it's like, you need to, like, I'm not saying you need to switch your rules or anything like that, but I'm like, stuff like that is ridiculous.
Well, it's just like crazy to me too, because it doesn't matter who you are. Even if it wasn't Caitlin Clark, if that would have happened, what were you going to make? Was it going to be the same call?
Yeah, you saw it, right? I showed you.
I saw it. It was ridiculous. It was. I
agree. Same Draymond Green does that in the game.
He's getting a.
Do you think he's getting suspended?
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
but it dumbfounds me that Caitlin Clark is getting all this hate. Which, like I said, I didn't expect it to be like open arms.
Yeah,
but it's not like Caitlin Clark is coming into the league and be like, I saved your league. Exactly. I'm here to be your savior.
Because she's not saying any of that stuff. Like, I'm sure she talks smack during the games. Everybody pretty much does, I would say.
Yeah.
To a point at least. But it's like, she's not saying anything like that.
No.
Like, at all.
So
honestly, it's kind of the opposite that she's saying.
And then, like, people are upset about her and the whole, like, charter flight situations. And
it's not like she ever said, like, oh, we need charter flights. Oh, I'm getting us this or anything.
Yeah,
it's, like,
it's not. Like,
it's more like the media that has said, like, this stuff. And it's kind of true, though.
So many people were upset that she got that deal from the Big Three.
Yeah.
It's like, again, nothing Caitlin Clark did. She didn't even go to the Big Three and be like, hey, I want to play for you guys.
Well, and I bet you, I don't know exactly. She has to be top 10 paid already WNBA player ever. Yeah. Not because of her salary, but because of her endorsements.
Oh, yeah.
It might even be higher than that.
Yeah.
Like, including endorsements and stuff, it could be top 5 already. I don't know exactly, you know? Yeah. But, like, if you just say her contracts that she's already signed compared to, like, others, it's like, it's got to be, if not the top, possibly, you know? And it's just...
But, I don't know. I was going
to say, bring up the point that you were going to say earlier. Do you remember?
What
we were talking about with LeBron?
Oh, yeah. This kind of reminds me of when LeBron entered the NBA, or even like Michael Jordan. There's so much anticipation with Michael Jordan when he was entering the league, and then especially when LeBron was entering the league.
Yeah, LeBron especially, because he was, since middle school, he was like looked upon and everything. I would say LeBron Clark was more than Jordan, you know. Yeah,
probably.
I mean, we weren't like alive at that time with Jordan. So I don't know exactly how it was, just from like history. And it was like I was 12 years old when LeBron got drafted. You were 7, or 8.
Yeah, I definitely remember.
And so it's like I remember it, but I know you asked me, what was the players like?
Yeah,
like was it like this? And I don't remember it being like that. I don't remember this much hate towards LeBron that is given to Caitlin Clark, I feel like, of like her peers.
And it doesn't make sense to me at all. It's like, you didn't act like this with LeBron. Like, why are you acting like this with Caitlin Clark? Yeah. Which, it brings up another point. I just thought of this too. It's like, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark were huge rivals in college. They probably, like, rivalries in professional sports pay. Like, it helps ratings and stuff like that.
Well, there's a reason why it was on, I think, ESPN yesterday.
Yeah. You know? It might be a thing of, hey, we want this rivalry to continue. So that also could be a reason why a flagrant wasn't called on the court.
The fact that it was not called a flagrant on the court is absolutely ridiculous.
I agree.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
Just trying to play like devil's advocate, maybe. Yeah. They want this rivalry to continue.
Even though if it was called a flagrant, though, it's like how, you know, I don't know. That was ridiculous. I watched a clip, too, that Angel Reese, like, there was a timeout, like, after that or something, and Angel Reese, like, came like, and I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
It's just like they almost, like, want to hurt her.
Well,
like,
it's going to be interesting because the NBA kind of had to go through these growing pains of, they went through a very physical period.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like, maybe this is the start of WNBA's physical period, which I've known a couple people that I'm watching that they watch a WNBA game and it looks a lot more physical and there's no foul. And then you look at an NBA game and almost the same amount of physicality, maybe even less.
And there's so many more fouls.
3 refs throwing up their hand. So maybe this is just WNBA having to go through these like growing pains of, hey, what are we going to allow and what's a foul? What's a... Hey,
and I mean, they're getting 2 new teams in the next couple of years. You know, I think they're planning on getting 2 more by 2028, I think.
Fingers crossed,
so
Denver.
2 more, right? It's 2 more by 2026, and then I think 2 more by 2028 is their goal.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I don't know. It's just so interesting. I don't know. Women's sports as a whole, though, is like going huge. Yeah. Shout out to Minnesota. They just won the PWHL.
Yep.
That was their first ever. Right after Minnesota lost the men's basketball, they won.
Same day.
A girl from Colorado, Nicole Hensley is their goalie, and she ended up winning it. So shout out to them. There was the women's soccer too, the national team.
Yeah, there is.
Don't know exactly, but
I don't know that.
Shout out to them.
They just played Korea, South Korea in a friendly.
We were talking to Book, and he's like, "Oh, definitely, like, man, they were like doing good." And it's like, man, I honestly don't know. And
I watched the end of the game.
Yeah, but shout out to them too. It's like it's awesome seeing women's sports kind of excel and everything. But let's get to our game picks. Unless you have anything else to say about that, there's so much stuff that we could just keep going, man. But I don't want to just keep saying the exact same stuff as we because I agree. Oh my gosh, it's just so.
Yeah. So let's first do a recap of last week's picks.
Yeah.
So Tim, you went 2-1. I went 1-2. The games we picked was Minnesota, Dallas, game 4. I picked Dallas. I ended up
switched it. Yep.
I switched to Dallas.
Just remember, I said because you picked Minnesota first, I would switch for you if you wanted.
I want the challenge.
You just keep going a little further down. It's like gonna have a dramatic comeback.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get like 15 correct in a row.
Yeah. But that was the first one. Second one was the
Arizona Diamondbacks and Texas Rangers.
Fatty was going to pitch.
So that one, Fat did pitch still.
Yeah, but the Rangers.
Texas switched their starter. Nathan Eovaldi ended up coming back from the IL that day.
Yep.
They gave him the start. He only pitched 3 innings. I was bummed. I've got him on my fantasy team, so that kind of sucked. But Eovaldi he was a Cy Young finalist, or
definitely changed it up a little.
He was in the Cy Young talks last year. So
I'm not gonna lie, I still would have picked Arizona because of Fat.
I would have definitely picked Texas.
The Fat man,
but because
he's my new favorite player.
This is his second year. He was a rookie last year.
I hope he gets. Actually, no, I don't. I was gonna say I hope he gets traded to the Rockies, but then he's gonna suck and probably never be in the league again.
He probably would be better than almost every single Rockies starter,
right? And then our third game was the Fever and Sky. And we talked about that earlier. Fever.
Yep, we both picked Fever.
Yep. So I went 2-1. Yep. Kyle went 1-2. I am up.
You're up 2
now.
Yep.
So it's just
you have 32 total wins. I have 30.
That just sounds terrible.
I'm just glad I'm at 50%.
Dude, you had a couple that were like it was rough right there.
I did.
I've definitely, and we've talked about this the last 6 weeks. I've definitely turned it up. I mean, I went 3 weeks in a row. I think there was 9. I went 9-0 in 3 weeks. I think I went 3-0 3 weeks in a row. I don't know because you were up by
my spreadsheet.
You were up by 2 or 3.
I think I was up at most point 3.
Yeah,
and so it's been like a 5-game swing.
I don't know what's happened.
I'm just telling you, I'm warming up.
I'm trying not to get comfortable because it's like he will come back.
And then at the end of the day, if we're both up, both over 50%,
that's what we've said. I'm like, hey, I just want both of us to be.
I don't even know who really takes these into I don't know if people are betting.
It's more for me and you.
It's just like a friendly competition.
Everybody else doesn't even care.
I don't want you or me to win by getting 39%.
I want it to come where we're tied or within 1 game, like the last week.
Yeah,
that's what I want it to be. And we're both at 75% or something. It's that'd be awesome. But this week we're gonna pick the first NBA game, which is on Thursday. And that is Dallas at Boston. Mm-hmm. Would you like to go first? Or you want me to?
You go first.
Okay.
I'm still thinking. I might go off what have you said.
Well, this one's been a tough one for me because, like I said, Boston's lost those first couple, and Dallas has won on the road every single one of the first 2 games. However, I think with Dallas, with getting Porzingis back. Like I said, I think the defense is going to be great. I think the defense is going to turn into offense a lot more. I think they're going to just have so much steals, fast break points, honestly.
Yeah.
I think Boston is going to win. I'm going to go with Boston. And at home, they're a very hard at-home team. Even though they have lost in the playoffs, their home field advantage or home court advantage is very good.
Yeah, one of the best in the NBA.
Yeah, and it's not they've had a little bit more time off than Dallas, But Dallas is going to have
it's been by like a day.
I think it was 2 days, wasn't it?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But they both had a long time, so I don't think that's going to play into. No. Well, it might, but it's like for both of them kind of thing. So I think Boston's going to win it.
I keep on going back and forth because I really do think Dallas will win one of the first two games.
I do too.
I just don't know which one.
And that's where I'm at too. But I think Boston's going to win the first one.
I think I might change it later, but I'm going to go Boston.
Okay.
For right now. Well, let's see like the final two picks, and then because if we end up picking the same for the rest,
I'll go Dallas too. I don't care. We can have one different no matter what. I'm fine with either of those. Well, I do think Boston.
For now, I'm picking Boston.
All right. Game 2 was we're gonna pick the NHL Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final, and we don't know who it's gonna be yet. Right now, Edmonton is up 2-0 on Dallas with 11 minutes to go in the third. So I would say let's just say it's going to be Edmonton, but we can also like Edmonton or Dallas, but I'm picking personally that it's going to be like Edmonton. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe that Florida will have the home ice if Edmonton wins.
If they beat Edmonton, they'll have home ice.
Yep.
If Dallas ends up winning, it'll be
in Dallas. Yeah. Yep. So my pick, like I said, you can either pick Edmonton or Dallas or Florida. I'm gonna pick it off of like Florida and Edmonton, just a heads up. But I'll let you go first.
I'm going Florida. I don't care who they play, Edmonton or Dallas.
Even if they would be on the road?
Yeah, they're winning. Because you got to think, even if Dallas does end up winning, they got to win tonight just to force a Game 7.
Yeah.
And then they got to win Game 7.
Yeah.
So that's 2 games that they got to win, all while Florida is just waiting and practicing. I'm
going to go Florida as well, and they just have so much more experience too. They made the finals last year, They made it to the Stanley Cup Finals, and so I think Florida's the better team. I think Florida's going to raise the cup this year. I think they're going to win it. Like you said, I think regardless who they play, I think they eventually will win it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a sweep, but I think Florida's going to take Game 1 too.
Yeah. All right.
The next one, we're doing something a little different here.
Yep.
So we're going to do a baseball series. So it's not going to be just the one game. It's going to be who wins the series.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
It's a 3-game series. The series we're picking is Kansas City Royals visiting the Cleveland Guardians. First game is on Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Thursday. You want me to start?
I really need to
Do you want to hear the pitchers? Since you like the pitchers.
Yeah, let me hear their names. It might not make a difference, but let me hear their names.
All right, Game 1, Kansas City is pitching Seth Lugo. And then Cleveland, Tristan McKenzie. Wednesday, you'll have... first, Tuesday and Wednesday are night games, by the way. Wednesday, Brady Singer versus Logan Allen.
Okay.
And then Thursday is a day game. Michael Wacha versus Tyler Bibby.
Bibby.
Does that help at all?
I don't know. I mean, dude, it's so funny because I don't know any of these guys. I need to really research baseball. I need to start paying attention more to baseball, especially when we're picking. I'll go first just because.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. I'm going to go Cleveland. I think Cleveland, at home. I think
Cleveland does have the better record there.
Okay.
5 games up on them, 4 games up.
You could have told me that KC was undefeated. I'm like, all right, cool. It's like I'm going to go with Cleveland just being at home. I know I've heard some about Cleveland, and I think we've talked about their pitchers are pretty good a couple times maybe, or maybe I've talked to a couple at work.
I mean, they can be good, but it's kind of the same as the Royals. It's
just hit or miss.
Hit or miss on a lot of these guys, and I've kind of gone back and forth with this series, but I'm more leaning towards Kansas City for some reason.
I think Cleveland's going to win Game 1 and Game 3. That's my guess. I think KC's going to win Game 2.
I think it will be. It could be like a split. Yeah, There's definitely not going to be a sweep. I don't think, but I think it's going to be like a 1-3 or maybe 1-2 and then avoid the sweep. But I just have a feeling. I think.
So you're saying KC?
I think Kansas City is a better offense, and I think they do have slightly better pitching. I mean, Cleveland can get hot though, and I mean Jose Ramirez is playing really well.
Who?
Ramirez.
I know. I'm just kidding. I actually do know.
But Cleveland's got a few like really good hitters right now that are hot right now. But
all right, so you're going KC?
I'm going KC though.
All right. So we have the same one on the first one. Then we're both saying Boston now.
I'll stick with Boston. I'll kick myself later if Dallas ends up winning.
Both Florida, and then I'm saying
Cleveland wins the series.
I almost said Texas.
I mean, Texas might win their series.
Well, because we're talking about other Dallas teams too. All right, so I'm going Cleveland, and you're going KC.
Yep.
Okay. So we have two the same, one different.
Yep.
Cool. It'll be interesting to see once when NBA and NHL, the picks, I might go way down.
Yeah,
I don't know. Well, we'll do some of the Olympics too. We'll play some fun stuff in that.
Yeah, I think you'll be better at MLB than you think. I think we're actually tied on MLB. Actually,
it'll be. I just need to look at a little bit more like stuff and everything.
Yeah,
and so,
really like like baseball is just about pitchers and. Is the team hot right now? Kind of thing. But,
hitting good stuff. But
yeah.
Cool. Well, that's all we got this week. We do have a line on a guest. He's a little younger. We're still talking about it, trying to figure out if it would be good. He might be a little bit more quieter than we're thinking. I don't know. We're kind of playing with some stuff. Hope maybe next week. Who knows?
Maybe.
We'll kind of see. We're going to talk some stuff. But we are trying to get a guest. Like I said, like he is a little younger. We also have possibly another one. He's just busy all the time and stuff. And so, but we are trying to get guests. We have fun doing that. It's just a little bit different than what we usually do and everything. And it's just cool hearing different perspectives.
And we got a lot of like fun ideas planned for future episodes too.
Yeah. And some shorts.
We're always talking about ideas, but
I feel like every single day we talk about something.
It's kind of crazy, like how I think we're doing pretty good on the pod. I know like people do the podcast episodes still. We'd love if more viewers.
Yeah, it's longer, so it's harder.
Yeah,
but
it's hard.
Definitely tell all your friends, tell them to subscribe and check it out.
We told each other that hey, by the year mark, if we're not over 200 subscribers, then hey, we're just not cut out for this.
Yeah, and we're already at over 200.
Over 200. So
it's going good. So
we're doing good.
Don't unsubscribe.
Yeah.
But that's all we got. We hope you guys enjoyed this week, and I know we always enjoy it and everything, but have a great week.
Yep. I got nothing else for you guys. Just enjoy your week.
Yep. Well, we will see you later, alligators. Peace.